Hey everybody, welcome to AfterBuzz TV's Crowded After Show. On this episode, we're going to be breaking down Crowded Season 1, Episode 6, Nothing As It Seems. We're going to find out why it's important to remember that first date, spoiling a 20-year-old movie, is that cool or not, and then the best way to break up with a guy. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Every time I just got a head bob.
Yeah, there you go. When you see the heads bobbing right here on the panel, that can only mean one thing. It is Sunday night at 10 o'clock or thereabouts here on AfterBuzz TV for the Crowded After Show. Welcome, everybody. I'm one of your hosts, Frank Moran. You can follow me on Twitter at HappyGoJackie. Rounding out the panel, we've got first on my left, the lovely and talented Dani Golub.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dani Golub. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Dani Golub.
And last in the panel, sadly, her mom is not following me on Twitter yet, and that's kind of disappointing, but let's introduce Abby Vega anyway.
Mom, get on that. But hey, I'm Abby Vega. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at _Abby Vega.
Yeah, look at that. So we're breaking down Crowded Episode 6, talking about a lot about families. We're talking about moms and daughters and all that great little stuff there. What'd you guys think of Episode 6? Before we're talking, I know you guys were raving about this.
Yes, I love it so much, just because we were talking about how we wanted more of Stella and Shay, and I felt like this episode is the first one where while Bob and Alice have their part, I felt it was mainly the girls.
Yeah, this was
in my opinion,
definitely my favorite
episode. Or at
episode.
least the most you've seen of a storyline on the girls.
Yeah.
Very true. And I felt like out of the two, it certainly felt like that Shay got a little bit more attention, I think. Even though Stella was kind of like the central, like, is she or isn't she? But I felt like Shay was actually got a lot of screen time to do more stuff.
Yeah, she did. Definitely the most in any other episode so far.
I am wondering, though, about with Shay. I only feel like we get to know her character that week by whatever movie she seems to be currently obsessed with.
Yeah. This week it was Pretty Woman, I think.
Yes, that was it.
I loved it. It was so funny.
I understood the references this time. I feel like last time I was like, they were a little over my head, but this time I was like, okay, it was funny.
Well, it starts off as we're talking about movies. Simple enough. Mike and Martina, they want to get out. Well, it's Mike's idea originally. Like, hey, drop everything you're doing. Let's not tell the kids what we're doing. We're going to go to the movies, just you and I. And, of course, it never goes off as well as you would think. Martina's got to get the purse. She can't just leave. She can't leave on a moment's notice. Now, are you two like that? Can you just leave instantaneously? Or it's like somebody says, let's be spontaneous. Let's go right now. I need to do a couple things before I can go out.
I understand the purse thing. Because I don't know. I don't know.
I could be ready in like 2 seconds. I don't know. I feel like it's when I was going out with my friends, like in college and stuff, they would all be like doing their hair and stuff in the bathroom, and I would usually just like stand there to be with them. But I could be ready 5 minutes. Like I usually wake up before work, like 10 minutes before I need to leave. I literally grab breakfast and go. I am very easy, but I do understand the purse. Yeah, like I want like my wallet and my phone in case for some reason they got separated or something. Yeah, you know.
I guess I wouldn't need the purse for that reason because I could care less if I had makeup on.
Yeah, she wanted concealer and her hairbrush.
I could honestly be in my pajamas, and if my family goes, let's go see a movie, I'd be out the door. But I do understand wanting your purse.
Yeah, I feel like you're backpedaling a lot, Abby Vega. I feel like also, once Danny said, like, I don't need anything, like, oh yeah, I don't need anything either. Yep.
But I would want my purse, 100%. I want my purse.
Gotta have your lip balm. You never know what might happen. I mean, you're in the movie, so you get chapped lips. You can't watch a movie and be distracted by your lips being chapped.
Really, you can't. That is annoying.
I'm kind of feeling it right now, actually.
Uh-oh, all right.
I hate
Let's all take a moment.
It's a serious thing. It is. It's
Danny's not
very
going to be able to make it to go ahead. Danny, do you need it?
I'm all right.
Let's get this girl some chapstick,
That's right.
please.
So as they try to go on, all of a sudden everybody starts hearing them. And they, what are we doing? What's going on? What's happening? And so Martina can't. I think Martina has no poker face at all. She can't. No. Mike's ready to lie.
Yeah.
He's ready to cut and run with her from everybody. But Martina just lets the beans spill that. Oh, we're going to the movies. Hey, that's great.
The girls are very excited. They all yay.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny that they emphasize again how Martina and Mike are striving for that alone time.
Yeah.
Yes.
That seems to be a reoccurring theme, and no one else seems to be understanding that they may need this.
Yeah.
At all. No one is comprehending that.
But when Stella finds out, it's like, oh, wait, okay, hold on. Erin calls up and she's had a boy up in her room. She's had a boy up in her room. But I feel like that seems so weird to me, too. It's just I don't know.
I thought it was funny. I did think that Erin was cute.
He was.
I was like,
we saw him for 1 second. I was like, oh, and then he was gone.
I know. I was like, we need some eye candy.
Yeah, and he seemed like
our age group.
And you seem very respectful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. It's like, hey, this seems like a really nice guy.
That was so weird how she was just, come on down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's so Stella.
It seemed like a one night stand in her parents' house, which like felt really awkward and uncomfortable. And it was interesting how she was like, "Yeah, he's too nice. Like, who wants that?" And then Shay goes, "I do." Like, it's so funny. I feel like there are so many girls that like love that chase after that bad guy kind of, stereotype. And the reality of it is like in the end of the day, you're gonna want someone who's gonna treat you nicely and treat you well. But so many people like contradict themselves. Like I feel like she'd go back and be like, "Why are these guys not treating me well?" Yet you dump the guy who does treat you well.
I'm so guilty of this.
Yes, are you? Yes, are you a bad guy?
100%.
Okay.
It's like, I don't know. My mom sometimes has to snap me out of it. I have used the term, "I don't know, it's just not exciting. He's too nice."
Right.
And my mom goes, "Do you hear what you're saying?" She goes, "Girls your age." And, I'm better about it, or try to be. But it's not that I'm not into guys who are mean to me. But there is a time where a guy's too excessive. I don't know. I
The hard
wrote
to
that
get
down.
thing.
Yeah, a little hard to get is good.
Don't listen to me. Don't care about my feelings.
It's
Don't-
just
don't-
bad.
don't buy
but
me-
as,
don't
as
buy
I
me
get
dinner.
older, I do realize how ridiculous
Right.
it is. I realize it.
Okay.
I realize it's not a good thing, but it's
Not, yeah.
Who has more sway over you, friends or your mom, in terms of like pointing out like this guy
that's
is not good?
I feel like if I'm into a guy, my family really needs to like them. But then it also sucks for friends don't like.
I
That's
know,
a
it's
draw.
tough. It is. It's tough.
Yeah. I don't know.
So what happens if your mom likes him and your friends don't, or your friends like them and your mom doesn't? Which one matters more to you?
What do you think?
I feel like if the
Family.
friends like him and the mom doesn't, that's a bigger problem. Because I
think-
feel like in the end of the day, like he's going to become a part of your family, hopefully, maybe. And as much as he is a part of your life and your friend's life, it's like welcoming someone into the family is a bit of a bigger deal.
Yeah.
I think.
I think if it comes down to it, family too.
All right, okay. And then we see, so they got the girls on board for this movie, unfortunately. So like Mike's saying, let's get going. But then for Bob and Alice show up. And of course, as you know, Bob and Alice show up because they're like, "Oh, wait, yeah, The Bodyguard's playing. That was the first movie we went to at our first date." And I feel like this point where we see where Alice remembers their first date exactly.
Perfectly,
Yeah,
yes.
and Bob
It's really sweet.
cannot remember
That's
any of
good.
the details. He keeps getting them wrong, which is great. So now, how important is that for you? On those dates like that, if got in a relationship that's meant something to you, how important is it that that other person remembers those fine details about that first time you went on a date?
I don't mean to be like stereotypical of gender here, but I feel like guys do not remember like little details like I do. There are so many things like with people that I've dated where it's like, "Oh, remember this one like amazing night that we had or something?" And then they're like, "No, wait, was that this one?" I was like, "How do you not remember this?" So I feel like it's like maybe that's a bit of a girl thing, and I was really relating to Alice in this situation. Like, she was bringing up specific details, and then he'd be like, "Oh yeah, I remember that," and she's like, "No, you're not remembering. You're just hearing me and repeating what I'm saying." Like, that was like such a relatable situation, and it's so funny that kind of applied to like all different ages and stuff, because I thought like maybe that's just me and like guys at this age are just kind of absent-minded or something, but it was like, no, he had the same problem 50 years from now. So I thought that was really cute and relatable.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's nothing to take personal. I think it's just one of those things girls remember
Everything.
tiny thing because they repeat it to their friends, I'm sure,
Yeah.
over and over. It's just, I wouldn't take it personally, but I thought it was really relatable as well.
Do you ever test the water with the guys and just kind of try to like every so often kind of just quiz them to see like, do you remember this? Do you remember this? Because I remember everything. How much do you remember?
It depends how close you are with the guy. It depends where you're at in the relationship. Like, because maybe you could do that once you get to a certain point. But like, if you're still in the new zone then
Yeah, you don't.
No, I feel like with where Alice and Bob are, like she can
Yes.
do that.
Yeah, they can for
they've been
sure.
together for years,
And they're
so.
clearly in love. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
It's not going to cause any huge thing if...
But it
He
was,
doesn't remember.
but it was sweet that they all went to the movies together, like as an anniversary gift to them. I know that it was like Mike kind of said it out of sarcasm, but I kind of thought it was a sweet idea. Like the entire family went to the movies, but it was like kind of to recreate their first date as an anniversary gift to Bob and Alice, which I thought was really cute.
Yes, after
Yeah.
finding out like the picture disc, that was no good.
No,
because,
they didn't like the pictures. The technology was too confusing. They were like, why would I want to see a scrolling video of pictures of me 20 years ago? And then what did Alice say? She's like, wait, how old did I tell you guys I was? That was so funny.
So now, have either of you seen The Bodyguard? I have never seen it.
I haven't. No, I actually, at first I was like, wait, is this a real movie?
Yeah, I didn't know. I honestly, I didn't know if
Sorry.
it was real either.
He said it was 20 years ago. I would have been, 3 years
yeah,
old?
3 years old.
3
Yeah.
years old.
I mean, all I know of it is just like the Whitney Houston song. That's, I will
Right,
always love you.
they play that. They play it in the end.
Yeah,
I
so
love
that's the only thing I know
Love
for that
that
movie.
song.
Yeah, but I know nothing else about that. So, but I guess as we find out, spoilers, guys. It's 20 years old. That's on us if we haven't seen it by this point.
I know.
It is on
I don't
us.
know how I feel about that because that was something I wrote down because I'm usually late to see things and I still hate when people spoil it.
But what is your statute of limitations on a spoiler? 20 years. Come on.
Okay, how about I'm not going to spoil it for anyone watching, but I hadn't seen all the Harry Potters as a kid. I was watching them as like a young adult more so, and people just throwing around what happens in the end and who dies and who does. I was like, whoa. I haven't finished them. Like, do not ruin the entire. Why am I going to watch then if you're just going to spoil the whole thing for me?
Okay.
So, I don't know. It's a fine line because I know that they came out, 20 years ago at this point? I mean, Harry Potter's at least 15 years ago. I don't know.
Have you seen the Star Wars movies?
Not all of them. Don't spoil them.
I understand because I've watched a lot of shows late, and I kind of understand that I'm gonna know things. Definitely with social media being how it is these days.
I hate it.
I first of all really hate that we're on West Coast.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
I love live tweeting certain shows like
can.
The Bachelor and things like that, and I have to avoid social media like the plague. When Game of Thrones comes on, I will not be able to look at any social media until I have watched it.
You can't
'cause
even
it-
vote half the time on these shows.
Yeah, exactly, because you're 3 hours behind the curve. So you
Yeah.
feel like you can't really join in that first audience experience.
So I hate that, but I know it, so I just avoid it. But certain shows that I've watched late, I understand that I'm gonna know.
Spoilers are there are websites dedicated to spoilers now and everything.
I
too.
hate people who purposely spoil shows. People who
Everyone has that friend.
everyone has the person who hates The Bachelor, so
And
they
then
think it's
reality
hilarious to tell everyone who wins The
No,
Bachelor.
no,
I'm like, just
not
because you don't
funny.
watch it, don't ruin it for everyone else.
So
Yeah.
moral of the story is no spoilers.
Don't spoil for us, or we will.
We will not spoil this show for you.
yeah,
not
we're not
that I
gonna-
know
yeah.
anything about the future of it, but
In fact, we're not even going to spoil the rest of this episode. That's going to do it for
all.
the crowded
Thanks for watching.
recap after show, everybody.
if I
Bye,
see
everybody.
any spoilers in the comments, then I'm gonna be really upset.
So now the other thing though is as they leave to go to the movie theater, Mike steps back to grab the purse, the whole purse that started this whole thing to begin with, and he sees a pregnancy test sitting there on the steps that leads upstairs, and thinks figures it's somebody's, assumes it's Stella's first because she was standing up there
course.
most recently.
There was a foreshadowing line too about that. Stella goes, "What did she say?" She was like, "Yeah, I wouldn't need a man to help me raise my kids. I have you
You
and
guys."
Dad."
Yeah.
To Martina. So I was like, my mind first went to Stella too, just like Mike's did.
Yeah, and he starts wigging out. And I actually had a chance at my job to go and visit the set one day, and that was the set that the movie
cool.
theater set was the set that was built up for this episode. So that was cool.
Neat.
It's like, all right, that's cool to see that whole theater set built up. So now to see it, how it was used in that episode. And we just cut right to it. And we see Mike and Bob sitting there in the theater as they're waiting for the watching the pre-show stuff. Do you guys play the pre-show games?
Yes.
Yes?
The trivia.
Yes.
I hate getting to a movie. I love seeing the previews. I love seeing everything.
Yeah, me too. I was at a movie
get there so
yesterday,
early.
and I was playing all the games and the trivia.
I love it so
I loved
much.
it.
Because they always have like the one like the silhouette, and then they start popping like the questions. That one, it's like, oh, it's this. Ah, that's Robert Downey Jr. All right,
Yeah,
look at me, I'm so
I love
smart.
it.
Yeah, I love those. I do love those.
Now, are you only saying that because Maria Menounos does the AMC ones, and she is our
Yes.
yes, all right, there you
No,
go.
I do love that.
Yeah, I do.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. That's right, Maria
We're just
Menounos. We
sucking up.
love the pre-show stuff.
We love the pre-show.
You know, I actually only go for the pre-show. I go and then I leave. I pay $10 and leave before the movie starts.
And so Bob puts on his cop hat and assumes like, well, maybe it's Martina. What do you think about that? And have you gone through her phone? How well do you know her? And so
That's never a good
no.
sign.
I mean, what's the rule in a relationship in terms of like, do you feel like you should have access to your significant other's phone?
My opinion on this is if you're going to look, you're looking for something bad.
Right,
You
you already think.
assume that something bad's happening. So in my head, something's already wrong. It's like-
Yeah, I mean, Mike kind of said it best. He goes, "I love you and trust you completely, but
But
I
I
went
just-
through your phone
Yes.
and I found this." It's like, so you don't. The whole point is like you're basically saying that I don't trust you and I need to look for something. I have so many friends that like would try to figure out their boyfriend's Facebook passwords and all this just garbage. It's like I don't think you should be with someone. I mean, obviously, Mike and Martina, this was a bit of a different situation, but I think in life, you don't need to be with someone who you feel the need to like constantly be
Yeah.
digging through their stuff. Obviously, you don't trust them, and the relationship is probably not healthy.
I agree with that.
Yeah, because I felt like at least you can certainly see how much they love each other and the length of their relationship. Because when Mike does reveal that, and the casual way is like, you got a text from your ex-boyfriend. I think you might be pregnant with this baby. Thoughts?
I know. I thought the way that they delivered that and carried out the whole interaction of it was so hilarious
really
because they made such a joke of it in a situation that usually probably would be very dramatic. Like,
yes, and especially the thing for a relationship that's been that long and full of that much love. I mean, something like that, they're not going to get hung up on like, oh wait, you don't trust me now. All of a sudden, it doesn't become about.
I thought
that.
It was so funny how he just straight up, and I think you may be pregnant with his child. And I don't even know what she said. She said
she was
some
just like,
comment,
what?
She's like, what are you insane? Like, I don't even know what she said, but it was funny.
I mentioned this before when we were chatting. Parks and Rec, I don't know if there are any fans watching, but they have an episode kind of similar to this where there's pregnancy test is found. Andy finds it and he kind of plays this whole game on like a corkboard trying to figure out who it is. And that was like where my head went right at this moment. Like, this is about to unravel, especially because Bob is a cop. Andy Dwyer thought he was in the FBI. So it kind of reminded me of that, this whole kind of situation played out.
Yeah, well, I do like once Martina explains, no, that was my my ex-boyfriend who's not gay and he's getting married and we're supposed to be going to that wedding, remember? But we also have that pregnancy to figure out. So, like, whoops, can't forget about that.
Someone's still pregnant.
Yeah, and I did like Martina's line, how do we not jump to the logical and correct conclusion that Stella's pregnant?
Yeah, and then he goes, is it too late for adoption? And then when she was like, the baby isn't even born yet, he goes, no, I mean for Stella. That was one of my favorite lines.
And so while we're trying to figure that out, we cut back to Bob and Alice in the theater, and they're kind of, again, Alice is bringing up the stuff with that first date to Bob, and Bob is just kind of like, oh yeah, but not getting it right. It keeps on saying my signature move. And I know guys, they always like, you see like on Seinfeld, like George Costanza's dad always say like the stop short, the signature move.
The hand in the car, yeah.
Don't steal my signature move. I feel like guys, I guess, have signature moves. Do women have signature moves?
I know I don't.
I don't even know what I'm doing half the
I know, same. I was just about to say I'm the worst. Like, I don't know.
I feel like it's like maybe someone who's like super confident in their like sex appeal and dating life probably does, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I just feel like for the average person, I feel like average regular people don't have signature moves, guys or girls, you know?
Only people that live in
I
sitcoms.
feel like I get nervous more than anything. I don't think I could execute a signature move.
My signature move is
even if I had one in my head, I don't think I could perform the execution. I'd get too nervous.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess like signature move, like maybe if you bring somebody over and you put on that song because that song will like set the mood or something like
guys,
that.
Right.
Abby's got a signature move. Abby's got a signature move. Everybody, yes.
This is pretty
AfterBuzz TV exclusive.
Signature moves.
Okay, I had the biggest crush on my neighbor. This was way back in the day, young. I was so convinced that when he came over, if I had the Little Mermaid's Kiss the Girl on, that he was going to kiss me. Philip Bowden shots.
There, Philip?
Yes.
Philip, I'm not
Hope
kidding.
you're watching.
I literally thought that even though he wasn't coming to hang out with me, he was coming to hang with my brother, that subconsciously Kiss the Girl by Little Mermaid was going to do it. So that's my move.
So funny.
I just subtly put on Disney's Kiss the Girl and got it all figured out.
How long did you keep doing that before you realized like this is not gonna get?
I don't even know. I was a strange child. I probably did it for months. I probably kept hope going for too long.
I want to think that now in a relationship or somebody you're interested in, you still will do that. That's your go-to move now. Forever.
I mean, now that I remember it, maybe it's not too bad of an
there you
idea.
go. All right,
just like have it really lightly in the background,
Or like in the car.
Yeah,
There
just
you go.
so they don't even notice it, but they're hearing it.
That's right. That's a subliminal.
Subliminal message.
That's right.
Yes.
All right, guys, just be on the lookout there if you're on a date with Abby Vega and you hear that calypso strums there of Sebastian the Crab. Just maybe something's going on. All right.
She's trying. She wants me to kiss her. That's the sign, boys.
That's right. And now we get, speaking of moves here, we get Shay talking about her move of always kind of following the rules.
Yeah.
And she comes in and talks to Ethan in the theater and says, oh my gosh, there's a advanced screening of Prisoners of Galatron. Yeah.
Is that a real movie?
No, it's not a real movie. So kind of like they're...
I felt like they were like talking when they were, talking in this language. I feel like it was like Dothraki or something, like
Yes.
it was this weird.
It was you who mentioned this once, but I still get this weird like Ethan
and Shay
thing. Do you guys get that?
Down and I didn't want to say it because it makes me uncomfortable.
I get it.
They're like kind of related,
But it's kind of like they've
siblings.
ventured down that on shows before. Like Gossip Girl did it.
I know.
But I totally got that right when their conversation
Especially this
started.
whole episode.
Yes.
I know. It
Then
kind of-
everybody was so quick to assume it at the end too, that if she was
Yeah.
pregnant and that Ethan could be the father. Like,
Right.
what?
That was funny how that played out. We'll get to it.
Yeah,
But
we'll get to that. But just at this moment, like I did see a spark between them, and I don't know if that was an intentional one that like the writers were hoping for. But sometimes cast members just have chemistry, you know. And these two, like, definitely their characters have similar interests. They're both kind of like the overachiever type who has fallen back a little bit. And we always talk about how we think Shay is going to be with someone really different, but maybe he was in
Maybe
front of us all along.
maybe.
Oh, that's right.
Ethan.
There you go. Yes. And they decided to maybe sneak into the screening. Now, sadly, all right, folks, I'm sorry. Being a rule breaker, I'm a huge fan of the movie hop, where you pay for one and then you go check
yeah,
out
that's
one or
fun.
two.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, are you guys movie hoppers or no?
See, I'm exactly like in this sense, I'm exactly like Shay. I do not break rules.
Yeah.
If I got told to be quiet in class, I would turn bright red and would not speak the rest of the semester. Like, I hate getting in trouble more than anything. So I have never movie hopped.
What? Never?
No.
I feel like I've tried. I'm like, yeah, I'm a pretty big rule follower, but
I'm a loser.
no, I am too. But like, I feel like the movie hopping thing is, I can't remember a time in specific that I've done it, but I feel like I've tried. Like, I might have like thought I was being cool. That's probably as like cool as I've ever been.
The movie hop?
Like,
Yeah,
that was like
man, stick with me.
rebel.
that was my rebellion phase. Probably like 8th grade. Yeah.
That cool strut sneaking
Yeah,
in
I
out of
tried.
Yeah, all right.
I think it was more like me trying to get into like a PG-13 movie when I was like 12 or something. Maybe that was it. I don't know. Something like that.
Oh, I still movie hop, guys. I feel like that's something not really
Keep
to
an
brag
eye
about
out.
now.
AMC. Put this guy's picture
No,
up.
I'm just checking out all the different pre-shows that Maria Menounos does,
Yeah,
just in case she does something
appreciate-
different. Yes.
He loves trivia.
Yeah, I love it, guys. And I love Maria Menounos. AfterBuzz. So we see that, because when we were watching it, Dani was like mentioning, like, look at his outfit. Look at
I
Ethan's
kept
outfit.
saying, I was like,
That's
why
funny.
is he wearing a vest? I was like, I just couldn't place that red vest. It stuck out to me, and the thing is he was actually wearing it seriously.
Yes.
Yeah,
He
That
was
is
wearing
funny.
a sweatshirt with a red button-down vest and then a white shirt under. Like, this kid is kind of funky.
That is not a natural outfit that you put together,
I
right?
guess I didn't think anything weird of it because I kind of just had already associated him in the kind of, he's kind of a dork.
He's quirky,
Yeah, different. So I didn't, that's funny that you noticed it. I didn't notice it.
I pointed it out, too. I was like, what is he
He
wearing?
did point that out.
That's funny. I didn't even notice.
And for one second, when one of the real theater employees busts them, for a second I thought that Ethan had gotten a job working at the movie theater. He just didn't want to tell anybody, but that was his real job since he's kind of busted out on the PGA. But you find out, no, since they dress so similar, the theater employee thinks that they're also ushers and tells them, hey, go in there and introduce the screening for the film. They're like, all right, we got to go into this movie and check it out.
Can I talk about one line that I thought was hysterical? I thought, first of all, Shay, right?
Yeah, Shay.
Shay. I thought Miranda Cosgrove was hilarious in this episode, and I'm
was.
so glad they showed more of her. But one line that made me crack up was when Ethan said something like, we can just go stand in the aisle. She goes, you have to keep aisle clear. Everyone knows that. I'm getting a sweat mustache just thinking about it.
So good.
I thought that was so funny because she was so, I don't know. I just thought that was the funniest line. I had to write it down.
She's great. She's
Thinking
great.
about it.
I feel like they like really aren't, at least up until this episode, like hadn't really been like using her.
Yeah,
enough.
and I think
Yeah.
she is so funny.
She's so funny. And this kind of role, like I said before, I feel like she's played this role so many times that like she is a natural in a role like this and can kind of just, she's been doing this role since she was like, 8 years old in School of Rock. Like this is
Yeah.
who she plays. This is like her territory. And if they let her go with it and say these funny things,
can
like
be
she can
awesome.
deliver.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I agree. I
When
love
she
her.
when she silences the crowd there inside the screening by speaking the native language.
so
I'm just
Yes.
going to call it Dothraki because I don't know what it was.
Yeah,
but-
she said she used some term for it, but that was pretty funny too.
But then as they're sitting in the back watching the movie happen, they get busted by the real ushers. One played by somebody I've done improv with, Kristen Studdard. So look at that. Yeah.
She weirdly looked familiar to me. Maybe I've seen her like on your page or something.
Yeah, I've seen it. She plays over at IO, and she actually plays over at UCB a lot too. So I was like, oh,
Cool.
hey, all right, look at I know her. But they bust her, and they get sent to movie jail, which we
is
find out is just the manager's
manager's
office.
office.
Yes.
Good to know. I haven't been there, so.
No, so now you know.
I hope to never be there. It's my worst nightmare.
that's your worst nightmare, going to movie jail.
Yes. Any sort of trouble is my worst nightmare.
She will turn red and not watch any of the pre-shows for the rest of the year.
Yes.
That's, but as they were sitting out there contemplating, oh, we're banned for 6 months, all of a sudden, Mike and Martina, they find them because they haven't been able to get a hold of them with the text. And then this is the part that I didn't quite enjoy because it became like that wacky misunderstanding that you see in sitcoms where,
I liked it.
oh, it was a little like,
I
ugh.
did like it.
You know those like wacky things in sitcoms, like those have my heart. I love sitcoms, and like I will take the cheesy, funny stuff that like you know that they're writing just to get a laugh, but I laughed, so I'll give it to them. They like kind of were talking about two different
Yeah.
things.
Yes.
I mean, it's done like overdone, done, and done 10 more times after that. But like I still thought it was a good version of that. Like
I
it
did
was
too.
well executed. It still got a laugh out of me. So
I did too. I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny when it was just Ethan, Martina, Shay, and Mike.
Yeah.
Their little interaction. I thought that was really funny.
Yeah,
Even though it is something, they do it in every sitcom,
Yeah.
but I still enjoyed it.
I still got
We
it.
can go in and out again in 6 months. They're like, why would you say that to me? Why would you say that
Yeah,
to
it was
me?
just like they thought Ethan and Shay were talking about getting in trouble at the movie theater, but Mike and Martina thought that they were talking about getting pregnant.
Yes.
So
So it was funny. I mean, like I'll
it
give
fit really well.
Yeah.
The two different conversations, I think they flowed well.
Right.
Because they could have made sense either way.
yeah, exactly.
So I think it worked. I thought it was, yeah.
So then, but then we get Bob and Alice come out as well as Stella, and they kind of all congregate together there, and they find out their whole reason this is all happening is because Mike found a pregnancy test. Whose is it? Stella says it's hers, and but it's not a real pregnancy test. The plus sign has been drawn in by marker, and she uses it. It's her breakup stick.
Her
Her
Magic
magic
breakup
breakup stick.
Yes.
I had to write that down.
Yeah, me
I was
too.
like, oh man.
Now, seeing this, are you guys like, hey, that's why hasn't anybody thought of that before?
No.
Or is that like too far
I
gone?
think that
That
is
was
crazy.
too far.
Yeah, that is
She
nuts.
thinks it's a great idea. She said she was going to bring it to Shark Tank.
Yes.
Which I thought was
That's right.
hilarious. I thought that was a really funny reference. She goes, I know what you're all thinking. And then they're like, what are we thinking? She goes, this is a great idea and I need to bring it to Shark
Yeah,
Tank.
her character is a very extreme, which I think, to me, like most of the stuff with her, bringing the guys and the girls down is very unrealistic.
Asking her
but-
parents for condoms.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That is just ridiculous.
It's very far-fetched, but I think it works with her. It's funny. It's a different dynamic for the show, a different
Yeah.
character, and definitely for like a sitcom.
I mean, I
think
love her. She's
I think
so
it works.
funny.
I think it's funny, but I think it's meant to be a very extreme, far-fetched character, at least in my opinion.
Now, how do you guys feel? Even though maybe this is too extreme and using the magic breakup stick, but if it's a nice guy, do you just try to get them to break up with you, or do you, if you're like, no, I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off and I'm going to break up with them?
I don't believe in the whole making them break up with you. I don't know. I think it's just dishonest.
I feel
you
like
know?
the only time I've used like anything in this spectrum is like getting someone to like fake text me. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's
Yeah.
like if you're having a miserable time, like having someone call you, be like, I need you to come home. There's a leak in the shower or something. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah,
like
to, like,
that's
get out
like
of a date
Yeah,
or something.
exactly. But like once you're in like a sort of relationship with someone, doing something like this is like really messed up. It reminds me of, I don't know if anyone watches The Office, but these are all my shows, and this is an NBC comedy. So when Kelly says to Ryan, like, she basically like lies to him and said that she was pregnant to get him to go out to dinner with him. So this kind of reminded me of that, but like the opposite, like I don't want to be with you, so I'm going to tell you that I'm pregnant. So I don't know. It was rough. I don't think that is. I don't suggest it for anyone. It's a TV thing.
Yeah, it's like the texting somebody having a fake text about the shower head leaking. That's like if
it's
I was the guy in that
mild.
situation, I'd be like, all right, I should
get it.
just go. I should just go. That's
I
the
mean,
worst excuse
I
ever.
know. And I mean, definitely like in her case with, what was the guy's name?
Aaron.
Aaron. It's like they went out once. Why not just say, I don't see it going. You don't have to go
Yeah, she doesn't have to
extreme to
lie.
say
Yeah.
I'm pregnant. I don't know. It's
No,
a little extreme.
But I guess Stella doesn't do anything in short measure.
Yeah,
she
that's
seems to
true.
she very much seems to push boundaries
and
in
she
every
thinks
direction.
her ideas are so great. She thinks this is very normal thing
Yeah,
to
yeah.
do.
Might as well back it.
I feel like Stella is just gonna like come up with the next big thing. Like she's
that's
one
right.
of those like geniuses that doesn't know she's a genius. Like these ideas haven't worked yet, but she's got something in there.
Yeah.
Something.
And we do find that we get the little heartwarming part of it there. It's where Mike talks to Stella and says, hey, when I found out that your mom was pregnant, I didn't run away. I was excited because I was so excited to meet you and have you in my life. And that's the kind of guy that you should be with. Somebody that's not going to run away if you show him a pregnancy test, but somebody that is going to run towards you and wants to stick
Yeah,
around.
it was really sweet. I love when sitcoms have those moments. That's why I love these shows. Like I feel like Modern Family always ends with
Yeah.
like something really sweet and warming at the end with Jay or something. And I feel like that this was one of those moments where it was like, it's funny and touching, and it didn't pull too much on like Martina's therapy business. I feel like this was like a real genuine teachable moment. And I thought it was really sweet, and I feel like a lot of people can kind of relate to that, and a lot of people that watch this show could be like, you know what, that's right. I do deserve someone like that.
I have to say, though, I was, when she realized I deserved something like that, I was a little bummed, although it was funny the way they played it out. I was kind of hoping that maybe this guy, he was going to actually be just like a normal, nice guy, but they had to do this extreme thing, which is fine. It was funny. It was funny. The way they phrased some things, but I was kind of hoping that it was going to end with maybe her getting this lesson and liking this nice guy.
And see what it's like to really date a nice guy and be in a real kind of like loving relationship. Instead, we find out he's a go-go dancer.
Not that a go-go dancer isn't a nice guy, but they had to take it a little.
What did she say? Gay for pay. Yes.
Yeah. But I like what Martina says. She's like, at least he has a job.
I know. I thought that was really great.
It was just like, let's just hold on to that or something. It was funny.
It was funny the way they use like gay for pay and whatever. But I was kind of hoping that maybe it could have been a little storyline.
I think he still has potential.
Yeah.
Let's not give up on Aaron. I liked him.
I liked him too. From that little snippet we got of him, he seemed like a great guy.
Yeah, so much the pregnancy test weighs on Mike Martinez's mind, so much at the end of the episode. They're back in the kitchen saying, hey, gosh, thinking about that baby before, and I thought you were pregnant for a second. I was like, maybe, why don't we do this? That'd be kind of cool. Should we do it again? And then, of course, Bella's got to come in with her money for condoms line and ruin the whole thing.
Yeah.
Remind her like that. That's why we're not. And I can't imagine, I can't imagine Mike and Martina wanting to go back. Maybe in that bubble of a moment, they're like, oh, what if? Wouldn't that be nice? But
I feel like it's easy to reminisce.
Yeah, I don't think it was ever an actual possibility.
No.
It was kind of more of a nostalgic thing.
Because I did at one point in the episode, Bob thinks Alice might be the one that had pregnancy test.
I was going to bring that up because I thought that was so funny because it was such a quick, she got emotional and then she just shut him down.
Yes.
Are you crazy? It was very quick, but I liked that they had that option in there.
Yeah, because I do like Bob says, Alice's family, they're fertile for their entire lives. So one of them retired and had a baby that same year.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
So that brings us to the end of Crowded episode 6. So look at that. You guys are loving the trajectory of this season, though.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying this a lot.
I think it's going up. You know what I mean? I think it kind of like sometimes pilot seasons plateau, but this one's getting better.
Because I feel like it seems like certainly by 6 episodes, and we really do get a good enough sense of all the characters that you can kind of understand their reactions and how they're going to act in certain situations. So that seems like
I agree.
It's a good way you can kind of guess what the humor is going to come from. All right, so I guess speaking of guessing, why don't we get into a few predictions?
And now, your
I'm so bad at
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So those of you that are listening right now for the predictions, for Abby Vega's predictions, make sure you're somewhere near a Vegas casino that you can bet on these because Abby's going to certify these 100% guaranteed. They're happening.
I am going to go with it. I think Shay and Ethan. I think, I mean, as weird as it is, I mean, it's weird, kind of, but I don't know. Something seems so, I wrote down, they have so much in common. They seem to genuinely enjoy each other's company.
They do.
And, if, as weird as it is, they're not actually related by blood. So it's, allowed. And if they're going to make each other happy, I'm all for it. But I can see... Unless, like you said, the actors themselves might just have chemistry. That happens sometimes. But I think everyone noticed it this episode, that there was something. Because I thought it the first time they interacted and then right again just now. So that's my prediction for the moment.
Oh, I know Danny's very excited about this possibility.
Yikes, not about that.
Not into it.
Not into it. But my prediction is more good guest stars. Because I know Jimmy Burrows is the director of this show, and I know that he's going to bring in more big people. I know we had David Spade, but I just feel like there's going to be more fun people coming in and making this pilot season great,
Yeah.
I just feel like, and I'm excited to see how they work into this universe.
No, and it's great. I mean, this is our third episode with Ethan, so I mean, I feel like he is definitely seems to be more part of the mix now, which seems cool. So I don't know how many more episodes he'll be in for the rest of the season, but hopefully several more, because I feel like he's a nice little addition there. He definitely gives Shay and Stella somebody else to play off rather than just each other the whole time.
For sure. And I feel like there's still a lot to learn about him.
Yes.
All we've really focused on so far was his golf, and then now you kind of see him and Shay have a lot in common in their kind of dorkier sides. So I think there's still a lot more to learn about him. So I think he'll come into play a lot.
And it certainly does just give a point of contention for Mike. Just Ethan's easy approval from their dad.
Yes.
Just like, oh yeah. So that's always seems like it just kind of riles up Mike at points. Always good for a laugh.
Yes,
Look at that.
for sure.
So yeah. So that I guess I'm gonna predict. Why not? Let's go creepy. Let's go really creepy and just say,
Oh, God.
yeah, all right. We'll just say Ethan and let's start shipping Ethan and Shay, everybody.
Oh,
Let's
gosh.
just do it. Yes.
I think it's happening.
It's happening.
It's
All right.
happening.
We're gonna be on the Ethan Shay train. Yeah. So we got to come up with their shipping name, whatever that is. Abby. You have a-
Shipping name.
Yeah, for
Sheathan.
Ethan. Sheathan.
Sheathan?
Everybody, yeah, Sheathan, everybody.
Yeah, that's like the only option, really. Sheathan.
Ethay.
Ethay?
Ethay?
I think Sheathan. Was
I think
off the tongue
Sheathan's
better.
good.
Yeah, Sheathan.
I think Sheathan's good. I'm all about it.
All right, look at that. Hashtag Sheathan, everybody.
Sheathan.
All right, well, folks, that's going to do it for this episode, episode 6 of Crowded. Look at that. We did it. We did it, guys.
We did
We
it.
made it happen
Woo.
there.
Yes.
Look at that. So if you want to continue the conversation on Twitter, we would love to do that for you. In fact, you can like us on Facebook. Give us those 5 stars on iTunes. And as I said, continue the conversation with us on Twitter. Abby Vega, if they want to continue the conversation with you, where can they do that?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at _Abby Vega.
Danny?
And Instagram and Twitter at Dani Golub.
All right. And Abby and Danny's parents, you can follow me on Twitter at HappyGoJackie. I look forward to hearing all your great tweets, reading them all. We'll have a great conversation, and it'd be fantastic. So you can follow me at HappyGoJackie. Thanks so much for checking us out here. We'll see you next week with Crowded Episode 7.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.